In this video, you'll learn about the homelessness prevention component within the Emergency Solutions Grants Program, or ESG. But first, let's take a brief look at ESG itself. ESG is a federal grant program offered by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. The California Department of Housing and Community Development, or HCD, receives ESG funds directly from HUD and administers the state's annual ESG allocation. ESG assistance is flexible and can be used to support a variety of activities under 5 project types or components: street outreach, emergency shelter, rapid rehousing, the Homeless Management Information System, or HMIS, and homelessness prevention, which is what we'll talk about here. The 2 primary goals of homelessness prevention activities are to prevent people from experiencing homelessness and to help them regain stability in their current housing or other permanent housing. HCD achieves these aims through housing relocation and stabilization services, as well as short-term and medium-term rental assistance. Individuals and families who have annual household income below 30% of the median family income for the area and who are at risk of homelessness would be considered eligible for homelessness prevention assistance. This includes people in one of 3 groups. First are those who are about to lose their primary nighttime residence within 14 days of the date they apply for assistance, who have not yet secured another place to live, and who lack the resources or support networks they need to obtain permanent housing. Next are those who are fleeing or attempting to flee dangerous conditions, such as domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, stalking, or human trafficking, and for whom their primary nighttime residence is a highly unsafe place to be. These people have no other residence, nor do they have the resources or support networks in place to find one. And third, those who meet the ESG program's at-risk of homelessness definition. These people have no resources or support networks whatsoever to prevent them from experiencing literal homelessness, and they must meet at least one of the following conditions. They have moved 2 or more times in the past 60 days or have been living in someone else's home due to economic hardship prior to applying for ESG assistance. They have been informed in writing that they will lose their current housing or living situation within 21 days of applying for assistance. They have been living in a hotel or motel, and the cost of their stay is not being paid by a government program or charitable organization. They live in a single-room occupancy or efficiency apartment with 1 or more other people, or in a larger housing unit with more than 1.5 people per room. They are exiting a publicly funded institution or system, such as a healthcare facility, correctional program, or foster care. Or they live in another type of housing that has characteristics of instability and an increased risk of homelessness. So now that we know who is eligible for funding, let's see what activities are eligible. In other words, how can the homelessness prevention component best help people in need? There are 2 primary ways in which ESG helps vulnerable individuals and families back on their feet and closer to a safer, more permanent home. They are housing relocation and stabilization services and short-term and medium-term rental assistance. Housing relocation and stabilization services addresses the cost of normal arrangements with housing owners, landlords, utility companies, and other third parties for things like rental application fees, security deposits, rent, and moving expenses. It can also cover costs associated with housing search and placement, case management, landlord-tenant mediation, legal services, and credit repair. Short-term rental assistance can provide funding for up to 3 months of rent, while medium-term rental assistance can provide between 4 and 24 months of rent. Staff and overhead costs directly related to carrying out homelessness prevention activities are also eligible. Finally, it's important to note that these costs are only eligible to the extent that the assistance is necessary. As you know, ESG exists to help program participants regain stability in their current housing or move into other permanent housing and achieve stability in that housing. All homelessness prevention projects funded through HCD must have proper policies and procedures detailing how each funded project can be part of the local coordinated entry system via their local continuum of care. More information is available from your coordinated entry leadership. On a related note, ESG-funded homelessness prevention projects are required to enter data on all persons served into their local HMIS. Please consult the ESG program's HMIS manual or reach out to your HMIS lead for details. In closing, we encourage you to read the Homelessness Prevention Policy, which sets out how HCD expects state-funded homelessness prevention initiatives to operate. You can also review the Homelessness Prevention Client File Checklist, which details what HCD expects to find in every client file served by ESG homelessness prevention funds. You can find both documents on the HCD website, and you can learn more about ESG components in our other videos.